It is 12:50, Saturday, August 28th. My name is Danny Jariki. I'm going to be speaking on behalf of how to use these portable fire extinguishers. Okay, I got my audience right there kind of behind my camera.
Yeah, we're really here. Are we here?
We're here.
Okay.
Present.
Thank you. And so due to COVID-19, low audience, and due to my previous sickness, sorry for the late post here, Mr. Beatty. But anyways, to get started, I want to talk about what actually you should do before even handling one of these fire extinguishers is if there is a fire in your building, complex, home, wherever you may be, office or wherever, you have to call 911 immediately. And not just that, you have to inform everyone that's also in that building that there is a fire around. You don't want someone just sleeping in the next room, and that'd be bad. So we want to make sure that everyone is aware that they can but they can vacate the premises as soon as possible. Let's see here. And what you want to know as well is that I'm about to teach you today is how to know how to use one of these fire extinguishers. But I will be going over the classes and the agents of which they are used for first. Before I teach you, by the end of the class, I'm going to teach you how to actually use one of these guys here. So, excuse me. So, types of fires. So you have your types of fires, and so you have class A, B, C, D, and F. Right? Yes, sir. So, one thing I've been told is with Class A fires, they're normally used for like combustible materials such as like let's see, like paper, wood, anything that actually performs that has ash left over it. That's what a Class A is. Anything that basically leaves ash behind. So like, maybe like this siding here, this drywall, stuff like that. Like it will leave like that ash. So like anything that's for that, cloth, trash, and plastics. So you have like basically, let's see, you have your what I just said was wood, right? Basically anything that leaves an ash. So you have your woods, your plastic, any like leftover trash, probably like that's in that bin most likely. Most of the stuff we put in the trash is about leaving ash. So, but it's just mainly for combustible materials. So also cloth is a good one too. Class B fires, they're for basically fire accelerants such as, I believe, such as gas, paint, such like this, let's see, such as propane, butane. So those are basically accelerants. So we have class B. Oh, that's a shoddy little B there. Gasoline, propane. Let's see what else I put down here. Butane, flammable gases. Okay, Class C fires are used for like electrical fires. So you have like electrical equipment such as like a motor, transformers, appliances, maybe such as like that TV back there, one of the wiring in the wall, stuff like that. Those are Class C, and those are going to be mainly for electrical. Thank you. Electrical, appliances. Motors, transformers. Now, Class D are for combustible metals, such as potassium, sodium, aluminum, and magnesium. So you got Class D as well. Okay, and then we have Class F fires, which are basically for cooking oils, greases, such as animal fats and vegetable fats. So, again, what I wanted to kind of talk about is if you do have a fire anywhere in your home, obviously the best thing to do as soon as possible is to call 911 in case the fire would spread. Another thing that you're going to want to do is if you take one of these and you don't feel confident in fighting that fire, then don't do it. Don't do it at all. Okay, that's one thing I've learned is that if even if you're a firefighter and you go in there and you try to fight a fire with one of these bad boys and you're just like, I don't know if I can take that thing out, don't do it. Wait for help to arrive and make sure that everyone else is vacated from the premises and make sure that way no one gets harmed, no harm, no foul kind of thing. Except for all your stuff that's at your house, that would suck. But yeah. But I can't say how important that is that a lot of people think they could possibly fight a fire. They go into it and it can spread. They don't know what they're doing. They freak out, they panic, and it can lead to a lot more problems. It can actually harm yourself, and if someone's around you, it can harm others, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Now what I'm going to touch bases on is the types of fire extinguishers. Right now, what I have here with me is a dry chemical. This is the most common fire extinguisher you'll see in buildings. It's for Class A, B, and C. So that is what we got there is for the dry chemicals. So I'm gonna make sure I put that down here. Dry chemicals is for A, which is like, you know, that wood stuff, you know, I put it up here, anything that burns right here, you know what I mean? Like, it's one thing you're gonna want, especially in a building like this. A, B, C. Okay, so basically, fire extinguishers extinguish the fire primarily by interrupting the chemical reaction in the fire. So when you're using this, it's just like, it's kind of like a negative force that's just gonna basically help you wipe out that fire. Today, this is the most widely used one, which is the dry chemical, as I've said before. It is effective on Class A, B, and C fires. This agent also works by creating a barrier between the oxygen element and the fuel element on Class A fires. Ordinary dry chemicals for Class B and C fires only. It is important to use the correct extinguisher for the type of fuel. Using the incorrect agent can allow the fire to reignite after apparently being extinguished successfully. So it's just really important you know which one you're kind of messing with. You kind of see what you got going on here. Usually they have the instructions and it tells you everything they have going on here, right here. It tells me that this is a dry chemical right here from the very top. And I can see that right here, and it just tells it, that's how it told me. And also it says right here, A, B, and C for the classes that it's used for and what it can be used for. So most of them will have that little not manual, but label on the fire extinguisher, so that way you may be able to know which one you're kind of dealing with. That way, you don't want to go fight a fire, realize you're actually feeling it fuel and you're increasing the fire. That'd be crazy. So, yeah, so okay. And then let's go with water and foam. Okay. Water and foam fire extinguishers extinguish the fire by taking away the heat from the fire. Foam agents also separate the oxygen from the fuel and the heat. Water extinguishers are for Class A, and for Class A fires only. They should not be used on Class B or C fires. The discharge stream could spread the flammable liquid in a Class B fire, or could create a shock hazard on a Class C fire. Foam extinguishers can be used on a Class A. Foam extinguishers, this is talking about away from the water ones, can be used on Class A and B only. They are not used on Class C fires due to the shocking hazard, what you're kind of like putting down. So water would be, say that's Class A only. Should put those separately. Class A only, and then you had, I think it was Class B for foam. So then Class B, and then you got A and B. All right, now next one I'm going to talk about is the carbon dioxide, the CO2. Fire extinguishers extinguish the fire by separating the oxygen element from the fuel and the heat, and also by removing the heat with a very cold discharge. Carbon dioxide can be used on Class B and C fires. They are usually ineffective on Class A. It's kind of wild how everything has its purpose, huh? Fire can be really weird sometimes. Yeah, carbon dioxide, CO2. I think it's like B and C. Okay, so that can be used for any accelerants, gases. It can be used for electrical conduit, stuff like that. Anything like electrical appliances, whatnot. Just so you guys can match them up. Let's see. Excuse me. Wet chemical. Okay. Wet. Wet chemical is a new agent that extinguishes the fire by removing the heat from the fire and prevents reignition by creating a barrier between the oxygen and the fuel elements. Wet chemical, or these Class F, not these ones, but the Class F extinguishers were developed for modern high efficiency, deep fat fires and commercial cooking operations. Some also may be used on Class A fires in commercial kitchens, but basically for what you got here, cooking oils, greases, animal fats. Yeah. So, yeah. So I put that down as scroll up here. Alrighty. Moving on to dry powder. Dry powder extinguishers are similar to dry chemical, except they extinguish the fire by separating the fuel from the oxygen element of the fire. Now, well, what the dry chemical does, let's remember, is that it extinguishes the fire primarily by interrupting the chemical reaction in the fire. And so the dry powder, as I just gonna repeat myself here. Dry chemical, except they extinguish the fire by separating the fuel from the oxygen element of the fire. However, dry powder extinguishers are for Class D or combustible metal fires only. They are ineffective on all other classes of fires. Class D. So your metals and whatnot. Okay. Next we have is water mist. Okay, so you got your water mist. These extinguishers are recently developed, or are a recent development that extinguishes the fire by taking away the heat from the fire. They are an alternative to the clean agent extinguishers where contamination is concerned, which I'm going to talk about the clean agent ones here next. But yeah, they are an alternative to that. Water mist extinguishers are primarily for Class A fires, although they are safe to use on Class C fires as well. So you got Class A, and let's see. All right. Now, generator clean agent. Okay, now we got a clean agent next. Now, from what I read on is that these are actually primarily used for like aircrafts and whatnot. These halogenated or clean agent extinguishers are either based on halocarbon agents or on the older and no longer made halon 1211 agent, which I don't know why I put that on there, so this doesn't make any, I should probably tell you guys about it, but anyways. Okay, so these commercialized halocarbon agents extinguish the fire by removing the heat from the combustion zone. Halon 1211 extinguishers, however, were chemically active and interfered with the chemical reactions occurring in the combustion zone. Halocarbon and Halo 1211 extinguishers are effective on Class A, B, and C type fires, although very small sizes do not achieve the lowest Class A rating. Okay, so we got what this is going to be good. What it is mainly used for is for B and C. All right. So, So as I went over, there's several steps before I actually learn one of these. You're going to want to kind of pre-plan a situation from what you're going to be going into. So say, you have like this fire, right? And as I can't stress it enough, there's been stories told, like newspaper articles read about it. People are trying to fight fires by themselves, not knowing what they're actually doing or what they're going to get into. Fire's a horrible way to go. Definitely just know what you're dealing with here, and then that way you shouldn't have any problems. You can be more confident in using a fire extinguisher. But I can't stress it enough as well is that you look and just kind of see what you're messing with here. You know what I mean? This is the only example I have for you guys today. So unfortunately, it's the one that came with the building. So I mean, it's the best one you get. I'll be also showing you guys how to use one of these. And man, it's pretty easy. It's not rocket science. So it looks like this one has been inspected. So it's actually been tagged. So it says you're pretty much good to go. This one's not faulty or anything. There are ones that you may see and like.
You have a question over here.
What if the fire extinguisher does not come with a tag like that?
Well, I mean, I guess it just depends because I mean it can mean that it hasn't been inspected or it hasn't like hasn't went through the procedures of like knowing it's.
So it's probably not safe to use?
Yeah, it's probably not safe to use. It's just kind of like an iffy situation.
Okay.
If you see one there, and I mean like you read it and it's like it's good to go. Like it's not gonna blow up in your face or anything. You know, I would hope not. But I would assume that like if that's your only option to like fight a fire, then to use it. But as this one just lets you know that it's gonna work.
Okay.
So you pull that pin where this little bracket is around the pin, bust that open. I'll show you guys here in a second right now too. So basically what you're gonna wanna do is there's this pin right here. It's almost like a little grenade. You know, you see what it is? Anyways, you pull the pin and this was what you can have this little pressure of this, that's like, you know, you release the pressure of the hose in. And so right before you do that, you wanna pull that pin and make sure you actually point at the base of the fire of what you're gonna be using this on, okay? Sorry.
Why not at the top?
Because you're basically, the base of the fire is, the origin is where it's like, it's where it's like the cause of it, right? If you're just kind of like going off the top of it, you're basically, you're doing really nothing, you know, you're not really
Wasting
working.
the fire.
Yeah, well, you're not really doing much about it anyways. You want to get the base of it because if you think about it, fire burns, right, and it burns up. So you get the base of it, where you're gonna, you know what I mean? Like you hit the top of it, it's just gonna keep burning right there, right?
Okay.
You know, does that make sense?
Yes.
Try to like explain it.
That was very helpful. Thank you. Good question.
But yeah, but as I said, yeah. So you're gonna want to squeeze this down, push this from this top part of the handle and this bottom part of the handle. You want to squeeze it all the way down. Make sure you go to a side-to-side motion, not an up and down or anything like, you know what I mean? Because you want to get the base of it, right? So right when you're actually fighting a fire, you get the base of it, and you want to go to you want to sweep side to side. That's what you want to do. And yes, what do you want to? You want to make sure you're at a safe distance away from the fire. Okay.
What is a safe distance?
Well, it's crazy how it tells you right here, doesn't it? It tells you because some fire extinguishers are all different, right? So I mean, I feel like some are going to be producing a different amount of like agent, chemical, as we just kind of went over earlier.
Okay.
So this one says back 8 feet, aim at the base of the fire.
Okay.
So it kind of just tells you kind of almost how to use it right there. Hold up right, pull ring pin, start back 8 feet, aim base of the fire. It's also in Espanol, in case you don't know English.
Espanol.
And squeeze lever, sweeps from side to side. Yeah, it also tells you right here on this label, as you can see, is that it says that this is for trash, wood, and paper. This is for accelerants such as gas, propane, like for Class B liquids, and also for electrical equipment. So that's what we got for the day. Again,
would you say that the most common one is going to be the dry chem?
Yeah, the dry chemical is the one that you're going to see mainly in like all the buildings you go to, commercial buildings, stuff like that.
Which one should I buy for my home if I'm going to have one in my house?
Dry chemical.
Dry chemical.
Yeah, that's what I would recommend for that because
Okay.
all in your home, you mean like
You're
basically
yeah.
have all those on top, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I would use it for. So let's say like a workshop or something, then you might want to get a different type. But so that's what I have to go through today. Any more questions?
Maybe it'd be smart to get a Class F for the kitchen, since it's cooking oil.
Yeah.
Is our cooking
Yeah.
oil? Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Any other questions?
That's it.
No, I feel
All right.
confident in to use a fire extinguisher.
Very well
Awesome. Awesome. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Right on.
And if you don't feel like you can't fight the fire again, just run away from it. It's not a big deal. I mean, as long as everyone else is out of the building, you know, like as soon as you figure it out, you follow 2 steps. First, call 911, get help there sent immediately. Make sure that everyone is out of the building. Check the room, stuff like that. Unless it becomes a danger to yourself, don't put yourself in harm's way trying to see if someone else is in the building. You're gonna get yourself hurt. You know, what's the point of having 2 people that are like dead? Instead, I mean, honestly, that sounds bad, but I mean, don't hurt yourself trying to save somebody else's. It's not your job. You know what I mean? Have professionals come in there, help them out. You know, hopefully help arrives on time. But now you know how to use one of these bad boys. You just go in there. Anyways, that's it for the class today. There's no other questions. Awesome. Thank you.